Hey everyone, it's Brett from Hope to Prosper, and I'm coming to you today from beautiful Casa Romantica in San Clemente. This building's about 100 years old. I've been in it a couple times. It's just gorgeous. Anyways, we're going to go down for a walk at the beach, and I will talk to you about today's subject, how I saved for my early retirement. Okay, looks like a perfect day out. I have the trail almost to myself, which is good for a Thursday at about 2 o'clock. So, I want to talk about how I saved for my retirement. When I started out, I didn't make very much money. In fact, hardly any at all. In the teens, basically. I started in the supermarket, and when I got my first computer job, it was like $17,000 a year. Back then, I think it was 80s, they didn't even have 401ks yet. I was saving in an IRA for myself without even help from the company. But I still saved. Started out with $50, $100 a month, and went up from there. And in my early 20s, family of 3, I only made $21,000 a year. So saving was not easy whatsoever. In fact, it was really difficult. So that's where I started. But I started. The key thing was I started saving when I was 21. And a lot of that money is, a lot of that money I saved from way back in the 85 has doubled many times over, and it's really grown. So saving a little when you're young, boy, that's step one. If you're young and you're saving, awesome, good for you. Great start. You don't have to make a lot of money to save some. I recommend saving 10%, but for many years, early years of my life, I couldn't afford to do that. I was lucky to save 5%, but that's where I started. I read about these FIRE people, Mr. Money Mustache, and Financial Samurai, and they have 2 professional incomes and no kids, and talking about saving 50 to 70%. And you know, that's awesome. I think that's great for people who could do that and jump on FIRE early and retire at 30. Just wasn't able to do that. My circumstances were just the opposite. I was trying to raise a family of 3 on $21,000 a year. And then later, after I had my daughter, I was making $27,000 a year, family of 4. So, and that was in San Clemente, California, which isn't cheap. Anyways, we muddled through. One of the things that really helped me a lot was I had a lot of side gigs. I worked computer shows on the weekends, selling laptops. I wrote tech manuals at night. And those 2 side hustles really allowed me to get ahead. My whole paycheck went to bills. Could barely eat, pay rent. But the side money is what I saved. And that's how I was able to buy my house. I saved up a down payment writing tech manuals. And then that really changed the course of our history. Okay, so second stage of my life, let's just call it 1996. We bought a house. I was starting to get paid a little more money. I was making right around $40,000 a year. And then somebody hired me away for $50,000. And so we were making a little over double what we used to make, and had a house, and what a big change that made in my life. Those times I was saving about 10% a year, and paying for my house and paying for my family, going to night school. And so that really made a big difference for us. That was where we really started to pull ahead. Buying the house, it's hard to explain this to people who debate rent or buying a house, but I think if you're living somewhere more than 5 years, and when I moved here it was pretty obvious I was going to stay. Buying the house has made all the difference for us. You kind of lock in your costs of housing. Barely goes up. You don't refinance it. And then you have it forever. Then at some point you pay it off. Around 2014, that's when I finally started making six figures. I've worked at jobs for a long time. You always get like a crappy 2% raise. And I worked at my last two jobs ago, 13 years. I got a lot of 2% raises, so it's kind of falling behind. But they had a good 401k. They didn't match. And I started, every time I got a raise, even if it was a small one, I started putting that money into my 401k instead of spending it. And I kept our costs at about the same thing for about 8 years, while I steadily increased, 401k, a couple $100 a month every month, till I was paying up to 30%, and that was about the maximum I could save at that time. Finally, 2019, got a break. I got some stock options. It wasn't crazy money, but it helped me pay off the $24,000 I had remaining on my mortgage. And after that point, I was able to save 50%. So for the past couple years, I've been saving 50% of my net income, and that kind of put me over the top. And when I was unexpectedly had my company fold up, I was able to just say, okay, I'm done, and I was able to retire without too much of a hassle. So that's my story of how I saved up my close to $1 million so that I could retire early. It was a long, long process. I'm going to go in stealth mode for a minute. Okay. So it was a long process, and if you read books like The Millionaire Next Door, you look at the statistics, just the regular saver investors like me that didn't have crazy incomes, that didn't have big pensions, that's how most Americans become millionaires. And anyone could do it. And yes, if you could do it fast, do it fast. But if not, do it slow. Just start and keep going. You never know what's going to happen in your life. You may get stock options like me. You may get an inheritance. You may get, you may just grind away for 30, 40 years and all of a sudden you're a 401k millionaire. So that's my advice to everyone when it comes to saving for retirement is don't overlook the little windfalls and just keep saving and increasing and saving and increasing. And I don't mean your lifestyle, I mean your investments. And one day you'll wake up and you'll go, wow, I'm rolling up on $1 million. And yes, it's taken 40 years, but that 40 years was going to pass either way, so I'm really glad I did it. Okay, that's my story for now. I will bring you on and show you the other landslides, and then we'll call it a walk. Okay, just wanted to find a quiet place to wrap up the video, say goodbye. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you do. Leave comments if you have anything you want to know about my journey to early retirement. And I just wish you all a prosperous life and health and happiness and sound finances. Talk to you soon.